coding. Wow, this is the day the Lord has made. So implication of data development, Dapps development. So we have talked and seen about the benefits of Dapps development, and so today we'll be looking at implication of Dapps development, and these like factors to consider. They are kind of factors to consider when you are doing Dapp development, because you really need to consider the maintenance. So if you have a long-term project, as you can see, for big projects, dapps like Uniswap, they had an upgrade last, I think it was it was on June. They had an upgrade in June. That was version 3. So version 3. So maintainability of a DApp, or maintenance of DApp. So dapps can be hard to maintain because code and data published to the blockchain is harder to modify. It's also hard for developers to make updates to their dapps or the underlying data stored by dapps. So once they are deployed, even if bugs or security risks are identified in another version, you need to like create another smart contract that really that changes the other core contract. So there is a function called upgradability or upgradable. It means that the contract should be upgradable when you are creating the smart contract or the DApp. So remember, dapps are basically the back end of a DApp is a smart contract. So yeah, so you really need to like update, always check your smart contract, always check your smart contract if it's compatible with the new version of Solidity. Always check whether your contract has reentrancy capability, like if people can your smart contract has vulnerability like reentrancy. Always update the reentrancy guard. Always look for overflow errors in your smart contract. Always do that. So if you're developing a decentralized application, then we have performance overhead. There is a huge performance overhead, and scaling is really hard. So sometimes scaling is really hard. You really want to scale up, but you remember, because of maintainability, you are limited. And I believe that's the reason why the proof of stake have been delayed a little, so that they can have something that really covers a lot, so that it can be able to push us to the next like 10 to 20 years without any damages. So to achieve the level of security, integrity, transparency, and reliability that Ethereum aspires to, every node learns and stores every transaction on top of this. On top of this, there is proof of work that takes time as well. A back of the envelope calculation puts the overhead at something like 1 million. It's that of standard computation currently. So this means that with proof of stake, there is a lot of time which is taken, and to achieve, you can imagine if Ethereum has computational is slower in computational. Now, what about a DApp, or what about a DApp which has been deployed on the Ethereum virtual machine? It will also have computational time taken. But with this, with the performance overhead, I think, not I think, but I believe proof of stake will eventually change, because I've seen in Celo most dApps, and you also saw how very fast it was when guys were doing the transaction on Mura market. Yeah. So even though for nodes, Zero does not have a lot of nodes. So in terms of node, I still believe, but it's a working it's a proof that proof of stake can actually work with networks like Zero and Polkadot and Matic. Yeah. So yeah, then we have network congestion. So at least in the current model, if one dApp is using too many computational resources, the entire network gets backed up. So currently the network is only able to process about 10 to 15 transactions per second. If transaction are being sent in faster than faster than this, the pool of unconfirmed transactions can quickly balloon up. So sometimes you find that there is a lot of transactions which are pending on the Ethereum blockchain, especially on new Bitcoin. For the last 1 month, there have been like 10 to 20 transactions pending because of network congestions. So, and we also saw the biggest gas consumer, that is Akina Uniswap, OpenSea, COVID Bank. Those guys are the ones who are consuming a lot of gas. So then we have user experience. So it may be harder to engineer user-friendly experience. The average end user might find it too difficult to set up a tool stack necessary to interact with the blockchain in a truly secure fashion. So now you can imagine, for those who do trading, what time it took for you to eventually understand that this is what this button does, this is what this does. It really took you time to actually have a good user experience. But with time, you are able to do that. And you can imagine a grandmother or a fella who does not really know much about technology. They will actually say that this thing is for old people, for young people. It's not for the young. It's not for the old. Oh God. It's not for the young. So, but with blockchains like Zero, I think it's only Zero which has this approach, the mobile first approach, whereby they really want to simplify the way blockchain tools, the way blockchain technology relates to people, and it's through mobile first, making it very simple. And the user experience there is awesome, because I've had a beautiful experience compared to if I compare with the time I joined crypto or blockchain. If I compare it with now, I think there is a lot of improvement in terms of user experience, because we are having applications which are really awesome, developing on top. And also, yeah, the same case with developers tool. So sometimes it's really hard to actually set up the developers tool compared to in 2018 and 2017. I think right now the developers tool has also improved in terms of user experience. You can be able to interact with the tools. It was really hard actually setting up Truffle and Ganache before I really set up my machine. Hey, wow. See, right now we were able to set it in 1 day or 1 minute or something. Yeah. For me, it took almost 1 week to really realize what I was doing with these tools. Yeah. So then we have centralization. So we have centralization, user-friendly and developer-friendly solution built on top of the base layer of Ethereum might end up looking like centralized services. So anyways, for example, such services may store keys or other sensitive information server side and server side server fronted using a centralized server, or LAN imported business logic on a centralized server before writing to the blockchain. This eliminates many, if not all, of the advantage of blockchain over the traditional model. So you remember the model that I showed you, the architect model of how a blockchain looks like. So this is what I'm talking about centralization. So we might have some aspects of the business like the KYC, because KYC, your ID number, your a verification ID, they are not stored in the blockchain. They are actually stored in a database. And that is one of the reasons why I really kind of fear to like verify my data on various. It's the same case that happened to I applied. I created an account with what do we call it? Partsful. Yeah, Partsful. I created an account with Partsful, but also in Partsful, I'm also stuck at the verification. I'm also stuck at the verification. That's where I get stuck, because I really don't want to give all my information to an exchange, because this data is what they use, and then they customize ads, and then it should, you know, they have information about you. Yeah, so that is the other side of the some of the factors to consider when you are developing. So if you are storing private keys, if you are storing sensitive information about people, make sure that you don't sell those information, because people are monetizing on our data. People are monetizing on our data, so we give them a lot of information about us, the pet we like, especially for Facebook and Instagram. We give them about, we actually upload photos and images of ourselves, of our daily lives, without knowing, and then we get hooked into this, especially for something like TikTok, because those things are really addictive. You watch one TikTok, and then so I normally read this thing, UI experience or use case, user experience use case. So I normally read this psychological. They normally have psychological or scientific approach of how they want to make this application so that they get addictive to us. So one of them is that the stories for TikTok they have to be short, they have to be kind of problematic, and then at the end they must be funny. So if you go and take a look at a TikTok video, they normally start with something which is kind of really bad, and then at the end of the day it becomes at the end of the video, you see there is a kind of a solution which is really kind of helpful and funny. Just go and watch. That's how they do that, and then they ask you whether what you like to watch. Do you like cats? Do you like this? Then they give you recommendation. So that's how the algorithms work. That's how the algorithms works. So if you say you like this and you spend like 5 minutes or 5 minutes watching that video, then you will have like other tons of video with cats. I don't know who is a user of TikTok here, because I'm not a user of TikTok.
I am not too, I don't waste my time watching most of the time. When you try to look at it, you just, they put it in a way that it will be very captivating. Yeah, at the end of the day, nothing.
Yeah, so
You ask yourself, what message are they passing?
so that is the user experience. And so these applications these days, people are spending a lot of time on UI and user experience. They want to make people comfortable. There are a lot of applications dozens of applications, whereby if you are into finance, if you are into finance, they and then you install that finance app for lending, you will basically go and borrow something. You'll always borrow because it has these nice things, the nice recommendation for you. So they are becoming, they have learned the way the human behavior. They have learned the human behavior. Yeah. So those are some of the things that, and also if it's a charity application and you if they can create, if we can create something like a charity app that really looks like TikTok, most people would really donate. Most people would really donate, but I don't know. Yeah, so that is on centralization and user experience. So on centralization, there are some services which are centralized, especially those for KYC and verification, and yeah, because they are really not stored in the blockchain. Those ones are not stored in the blockchain, because if they are stored in the blockchain, then it means it's really expensive for you. So lastly, we talked about Trafo. So we have been able to install this. We have been able to install Trafo. Have been able to install Ganache. We have been able to install Solidity, and we also have MetaMask. So today, what I will do, I'll just do a simple demonstration on how you can do Trafo and bots. So how you can do Trafo and bots, and then I'll also share a link for a list of more developers tool that is on Consystem, and you can actually go and take a look at this link. So these are all the resources and the tools for developers. So like if you want to, there are IDEs, there are framework, there are smart contract languages, there is developers tool. This if you're a new developer, you can start there. If you are already experienced developer, you can always go direct. If you are a front-end or a back-end developer, you can just visit back-end Ethereum APIs and front-end Ethereum APIs. So let me just check at backend Ethereum APIs. So for backend Ethereum, so if you are developing on Python, you see we have web3.py. If you are developing on PHP, you have web3.php. You have Ethereum for PHP. We have Web3 Java. If you are developing on Java, we have .NET Web3 if you are developing on yeah. And then we have for Ruby, we have for Rust, we have for Haskell, we have for Kotlin. For those who are Android developers in Android Studio. For me, I normally like to use Expo if I'm creating a React, an Android application, because with Expo, you can be able to like create two applications at the same time. You can create an iOS application and also an Android application for both OSs. That is for iPhone and for Android phones. Because if you create with Kotlin or Android Studio, you will also need to convert it to iOS so that it can also be able to support the other users. But to avoid that, to avoid creating a lot of builds, just use a framework like React Native with Expo, and then create one code base for the two applications. Yeah. So if you compile them, it generally compiles to either iOS or Android. Yeah. Then we have the bootstrap. So we have truffle packages. We have the ones for text chain. So then we have parity demo. Yeah, we have private network deployment script. So this there is a lot of a whole documentation of different tools, best practice patterns and best practice. The best practice for smart contract development, whitelisting, upgradable. So this is the one that I was talking about. If you want to have an upgradable ERC20 token, this is a Vault ERC20 Vault. This authentication, this is what I was talking about. Authentication is on RBAC, is role-based, access control. So role-based is whereby you have roles for different people to join to access different levels of clearance in your DApp. So we have those who are campaign managers for different yeah. Then we have the Open Zeppelin contracts library or framework that has reusable and secure contracts. This one we have been able to talk about it, and advanced workshop. Some of this we haven't been able to, like, we have tackled this one. We have tackled the one for ERC, and here we have also talked about truffle boxes. So today we will see truffle boxes, and then tomorrow we will be able to also see how tomorrow, or yeah, we'll be able to talk about web3.js. And then this is web3.js. So web3.js is a front-end Ethereum API. And we have also Drizzle, which is a Redux library to connect a front-end to a blockchain. Yeah, and then we have use MetaMask, is a custom React hook to manage MetaMask in Ethereum Dapps project. So this is what, when you are connecting to Uniswap, you are use MetaMask. You are using this React hook that controls your wallet on MetaMask on Dapps. Yeah, so we will be able to at least have an experience of the different tools, and of course we can never understand this in one day. So that's why I'm really encouraging us to read and read more about these tools. And also, so as you can see, there is a role of documentation. So that is one on the front end and back end. We haven't even touched on the infrastructures, testing, smart contract standards. So we have also talked about the smart contract standards, that is the ERC20 NFT and non-fungible token, that was 771. Yeah. Then we have scalability and privacy, payment channel. You see, there is a lot of things that you can learn and you can be able to do. So we have talked about Solidity. So this one is for new developers. So for new developers, we have done, for you, we have done Solidity. We have also interacted with MetaMask. So today, or this week, and next week, as we finish up, we will interact with Truffle and Truffle boxes. We have also interacted with Open Zeppelin starter kits. Yeah, starter kits. Yeah. So at least in our checklist, we can check a lot. We can check some few. Yeah, we can check like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can check like 5, which is a standard. So for Python developers, you can use Brownie. Brownie is a Python framework for developing, testing, and interacting with Ethereum. For JavaScript, use Hardhat and Truffle. So Truffle is the same as Hardhat. So this one it's the same. The tools that we will use, or the commands that we will use on Trafo, you can always find them. You can always read more on Hard Hat and see how you can be able to implement and also get the same. So they basically do the same, deployment and everything. Yeah. So they have for TypeScript and JavaScript. Yeah. So yeah. So at least with this Trafo, MetaMask, Solidity, and OpenZeppelin, you can get started to create a smart contract and a decentralized application. Yeah. So since we have Trafo installed, let me share this link so that you can also read on your free time and also take a look at different tools, how they work. Yeah. So since we already have Trafo installed, since I have installed Trafo, since I have Trafo in my system, so what I will do, I'll just go to Trafo documentation and doc, and then I'll go to Trafo. So they have Trafo and Ganache. So I should have clicked on Trafo. So we have installation. For Mac, you need version 8 or later. So this one we have done. So I'll share this one on the chat again, like yesterday. And then, so we already have this. We have already installed that. So we go to the next part. That is the documentation. So first things first, we will create a folder called mk make directorate. So make directorate ads coin. So we will be making ads coin again on our local development. So we have created a directorate called ads coin. Then we will change directorate to ads, that is ads coin. So we are inside ads coin, and then we will do Trafo unbox. So we are opening our suites, meta, Trafo unbox meta coin. So meta coin is a coin that has already been created for us in the box. So yeah, in the Trafo box. So just do enter, and then we should have our application downloading. So we have successfully unboxed our box. So then we can so since we have already created our directory, it should be somewhere, should be ads coin. Let me refresh. Should be on my desktop. Want to open it on it should be on my desktop. Oh, if it's not available on my desktop, I'll just do code dot, and then I will open the file using VS Code. So code dot is a simple command to open your VS Code editor, your code editor, that is VS. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, let's the VS Code road. So in our box, yes, I do trust this one. So in our box, once we have created our, once we have done truffle and bought MetaCoin, we will see these folders and files. So we should have the contracts folder, and we should have the migration folders, and we should have the test folder, and then we should have the Git attributes, and then we should have a license, and then we should have truffle config. So truffle config is where we will, so I'm explaining what each and every file does, each and every file and folder does. So in our truffle config, we will have the network. This is where we sent our configuration so that we can be able to interact with the different networks. Yeah. So this one is a test network, or the deployment network, or you can call it any, you can give it a name, any name. So this, we have the development network. You remember the link that I was telling you on our Ganache? This is where we will have the 127 or the local host, and then we will have our port running at 7045, and then we will have network ID. So this one highlights every network ID. So any network ID, but you have to specify your port, because different networks. Let's go back to MetaMask and see where every network, every network has a network, has an ID, has a network ID. So the networks always, all the networks have network ID. So if we go to settings and then networks, so we will have Covan. So if I click on Covan, the chain ID is 42. And then we have the RPC URL, which is covan.infura. You remember Infura? So this is where the RPC, or the node for Covan, is located at. And then the currency of that particular network is ETH. And then we have the block explorer, which is covan.eth, etherscan.io. So for my local development, since I do have local development, let's see network, and then let me share my network. So normally I call my I have two local development. So I have the Jordan's chain, and then we have localhost, which is running at port 8545. This other one is running at 7545. And then chain ID, you can give it any normally it's 1337 for my case. It's 1337 for my case. That's the normal one I normally use. And then the currency symbol is always ETH, unless you are developing in a different blockchain, then you can have the currency as 0. Then I have the block explorer. So the block explorer is always Ganache, but we don't specify because this one is optional. Also, this one is optional. Yeah, but for chain ID, it's a must. So the chain ID it can be 1337 or 40 or 42, 220, or anything, provided your Ganache has specified that chain ID. Yeah. So this is what truffle config does. This is what truffle config does. You have the port, you have the network ID. So if it's if you have specified that it's 1330, then you remove that one, and then you have to make sure that it's using 1330. But normally it's all aesthetic. Is it aesthetic, or the multiplication sign symbol says that you have that. Then here we have configurations for the imports. If you want to import the hardware wallets, truffle hardware wallets, yeah. And then if you are finally sure that you want to deploy, you may write this network as production. So this one is for production. So for production, you can have you can also have another network here for like test net, for test net. So if you are finished up and you are sure that your code is working fine, you can create one for production and then the other one for test net. So you are sure that your application is complete. So you'll just go to Infura and change this host URL, and also change the port ID, and also the network ID can remain like that. And then you paste your URL there, and then you comment this one, so that it doesn't deploy to your local development, so that you launch it to production. That is the mainnet. If you want to deploy it to a test net, you will do the same. So you will go to Infura and pick up the URL for Covan or Link Bay, and then paste it here at the host, and then you will be able to export it. Yeah. Then so that is it on truffle config. And then here, if you have a database, so after you backed up your artifacts, you can utilize a DB by running migration as follows. So this one is for running migration and everything. So if you have a DB like that, like Mongo or SQL, you can actually paste your settings here. If you want your decentralized application to actually interact with the non-blockchain stuff. Yeah. So then we have the contracts here. Here we have some contracts. So we have convert. Convert is also a library that, like the way we have safe math. And then this one is for conversion rate. This one is for conversion rate. So the amount and then the conversion rate of the currency. And then we have the ERC20 token. So we have the ERC20 token. So basically it doesn't have a lot of functions. So the contract that we created, we can actually paste it content here and change it to something else. So for now, I'm going to just leave it at MetaCoin. And yeah, so you see, it has just the basic, it's just a bare bone for helping you to create. So instead of transfer function here, they have indicated it as send coin. So send coin is the same thing. As you can see, we have the receiver, the amount. We basically have the same things we had in our previous class that was on ERC20 token. And then we have, instead of Boolean success, it's looking whether it's sufficient. It's looking whether it's sufficient. Yeah. So, and then here we have get balance in ETH. So this is the conversion rate that they are using the library from convert. So this is how they have imported it. And this is how they are just basically using it to get the balance of converted in ETH. And then we have the migration. So this one is a contract which is really important, because when you want to deploy or migrate to a test net, you really need to use this one. You need to use this contract migration. So it's the one that helps you to migrate in different networks. Then we have the migration scripts. They are normally called scripts. They are JS files. They are JavaScript file. So this one, it does deployment, it does the migration. So you will normally use trafo migrate dash dash network main dash network main, and then it will be initiated. But it will, when you use that command, it will initiate this first JavaScript initial migration.js. So it will first deploy this migration.sol, and then it will deploy Metacoin to mainnet, and then you will have to specify. So this deploy contracts is the one which is used to deploy all these contracts. So as you can see, this the deployer, this the other one. So it will link the first contract, that is convert library. It will link convert library together with Metacoin, and then it will deploy Metacoin in a different address, and then the convert lib will be deployed in a different address, because they are different. They are different contracts, but they will be linked together. So these different addresses will be linked together by this keyword deployer.link. Then we have test. So this is where chai and mocha. This is where chai and mocha. So this is where you need a lot of chai for testing. So yeah. So this is chai. Yeah, this is chai. I believe this is chai. Chai is the one that looks like this. So chai is a testing library that you can use to do your testing, whether you know what we call unit testing. When we are programming, there is a section when you are writing an application. There is always that part for the last chapter in development, in programming. That is that last chapter where you do unit testing. So unit testing is very important, and this is how you will be able. So this one has already been done for us. We don't really need to like test. And yeah, so the first test checks whether our contract has created 10,000 Metacoins in the first account. So that is the first check. And then it has to show. So if the test was successful, it will go to the next test. If the account, if the test was unsuccessful, it will say 10,000 was not created in the first account. So it wasn't in the first account. So then should call a function that depends on a linked library. So it should check whether the balances or the functions, this function should check whether the Metacoin contract has been connected with the convert library for converting the balances. So you see this function here, this get balance in ETH. This get balance with ETH is the one which is being tested here. So get balance in ETH. So it should be linked. It should check whether the contract has been linked. Then we have this other one, the last part, which the writer of this contract is checking whether the coin was sent correctly to the second account, that is the second address. So remember our array. So normally, remember what we talked about arrays. Normally in programming, we have 0 to 9. We have 0 to 9, and they are called binary system, or then binary system. So we have header and we have binary system. So normally we start counting an array from 0. So you remember the addresses that are provided. So to access them, you can just use accounts, then with the brackets, square brackets that represents the array, and then you input 0. That will be the first account. The second account will be number 1, index number 1. So yeah, so we have something like this. So we have index 0, we have index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So we have indexes in array like that. That's how you are able to access indexes. Yeah. So then we have get initial balances of the first account and second account. So you get whether you check whether they do have balances. Then make the transaction for the first account to send. So initiate or declare a variable amount of 10, and then call the function send coin. So send coin to this function. Send coin is this function. Send coin, which takes 2 parameters, the receiver and the amount. So our receiver here is the second account 2, and the amount here is amount 10, which will be coming from account 1. So get the balances of the first and the second account after the transaction. So you have to update and get the balances to show whether they were the balances have changed. Then we have amount was not correctly taken from the sender. So you have to, if the account 1 does not have tokens, the test will obviously fail. And then we have amount was not correctly sent to the receiver if there was a delay or something. Yeah. So it has to check whether the amount was added or not added. Yeah. So that is the So that is the test. And then this is the test for the meta coin. So this is the other part. This the contract. Yeah. So this one does not have a lot. It basically this one should be the one for testing. So yeah, then licenses is the license of your software. So you can write whether it's an open source, whether it's not an open source. You can write a license. It's just the terms of use for your software. Then that's it on truffle and bots. And then right now we don't have a backend. We still don't have we have a backend, but we don't have a front end. We don't have a front end. Yeah. So what I've shown you is how you can be able to truffle and bots, and what this smart contract really means, and not the smart contracts, but different folders, the functions, the different folders mean, and their uses. Yeah. So I hope it wasn't that deep. So I think we can stop from here. Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow we can have like an afternoon session so that we can take care of the errors that you are having, and then yeah. So any question, concern, comment, or observation?
Hello.
Hello.
I was checking I was going through the assignments on Dex Virtual. I noticed.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you noticed?
I was saying we have assignment 4 and 5 are both due the same time.
Assignment 4 and 5. Let me take a look.
I began with I was checking on the one for deploying a contract, a ERC20 token, and then I saw this other one is due the same time. So okay. I don't know if you can put them apart.
Let me see. I added them the same day, so I guess I
had begun with 5. I was
Okay.
checking out 5.
Okay, 5. Yeah, share the contract address. Yeah. So I'm still waiting for yeah. So
Some
assignment
of them
5.
are due the same time.
Okay, so I think I can change for assignment 5, and yeah, I think I can change for assignment 5.
Okay.
Yeah. It's for like complete. So if you have deployed an ERC20 token, you can also submit for question 4.
Okay, so which one should we begin with, 4 or 5?
Any. If you have created an ERC20 token and you have also created a simple smart contract, they can cover the same basics, because what I'm trying to look for is whether you are able to like use limits. That is one thing that I'm looking for, whether you have been able to use limits, and also if you have like understood the concept for the deployment process, whether you have been able to like understand how the deployment process goes and how you can be able to deploy. So they can basically they basically have the same impact. And also I'm looking whether you have been able to like understand how variable works. For assignment 4, I'm looking for if you have like understood how to do transaction, to store data and all that. So if you have been able to do assignment 5, it also means that you have been able, you have the skills for assignment 4. You also have the skills for assignment 4, because question 2 really means research more on Ethereum smart contract and come up with a simple contract. The standard functions, that is the ERC20 functions. And this other one is what is double spending. So you can actually answer for double spending. You can answer the question for double spending. Yeah, answer the question for double spending. Then the ERC20 and simple contract will be both covered for the same, I think. Yeah, that will, if yeah, because I'm looking for the same skills.
Okay, so question 4 we only do part 3 and then end question 5.
Yeah, and question 5, because I'm looking for the overall skill, whether you have understood how to debug on limits, whether you have understood how to deploy, how to combine the smart contract, how to set the solidity, how to also set those things that I've taught in class. That is the same thing that I'm looking for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe if you have time on Saturday, we go through the code with you.
Okay.
That I can understand it well.
Yeah, so we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do them same thing. I think that is the reason or the reason why I did the same for these two. Yeah. So
I said practically to answer question 4 and 5, you'll be good with the contract number.
Yeah.
Then you just answer for number assignment 4. You just write the third answer the third question.
Yeah. If you're able to actually add the ban function, if you are able to add the ban function, that will be a plus for me, from me. That is
just the ban function, and
just the ban function, and also if you will be able to like ban, and if you are able to actually come up with a lot, the good thing for me, because I'll see that you have been able to like understand these concepts.
Okay.
Yeah. because that is what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for. I'm looking whether you have been able to like deploy, if you have been able to like be able to kind of come up with yeah, so that's what I'm looking in every assignment, especially for this one for encryption. I was looking whether you have been able to like understand how encryption works, if you're able to like create an encryption method, and yeah. So, and also if you have been able to like understand how MetaMask works. Yeah, so yeah, those are the skills that I'm looking for. Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice. It's a very practical class.
Yeah.
So we are doing you assignment 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. So
So
yeah. And then I wish maybe on Monday we have been talking, we have been hearing voices. we have been hearing voices, so I don't know this voice how it looks like. Yeah, so yeah, maybe on Monday.
you want to put a face of the voice.
Yeah, I want to put the face on the voice. So you can do that on Monday, as yeah. I'll also, okay, my friend from Sero, he wasn't able to like come as a guest lecture, so I'm hoping either on Monday. So we said we will be completing on Tuesday. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, we said
Hello?
we said we will be completing on I think Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I hope he will be available, because he has sent me a meeting link so that I can be able to schedule another time, so that he was really busy, because right now they have this hackathon, and they really need to come up with things on how they can be able to, yeah. But he has said that he will be available, so I'll talk to him tomorrow, and then see if he will be available, and we can have like like a like a small party, what do they call it? There's something they call these like a listening party or something, where you are all listening the same Spotify songs. Somebody shares their Spotify their Spotify their Spotify playlist, their Spotify playlist, and then they listen together, something. Yeah. So yeah, that is yeah. So nice, awesome.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so when the class end on Tuesday, will we continue with the sessions? Because I still feel, personally, I feel like I'm still an amateur. I need a lot of guidance.
Let me we will have other classes. We'll have other classes, and we can let me just a minute. Yeah, so today was an awesome class, and it was really amazing. And yeah, so we dive today. Tomorrow we go back to the shadow head, and then we reflect on what we have learned. And that's the best way for learning. Yeah. So yeah. So any other question, any other concern, suggestions? before we call it a night? Yes.
From me now.
Okay.
From me none.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, not for myself too.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So we can call it a night, and then yeah. Good night, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
A good night too.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, bye.